Welcome to the Coffee Club, broadcasting live from New York with your host, Felix, and co-host, Dr. Mark. So let's have a cup of coffee and enjoy the show.
There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Live from New York. It's the Coffee Club.
That's right. It's us on a Monday.
This is Felix.
And this is Mark.
Dr. Mark.
Dr. Mark. That's true. Dr. Mark.
Dr. Mark. And we're here tonight to talk about, well, we always talk on Mondays, what we enjoy doing.
Politics, electioneering.
Politics.
News.
Politics.
News. Politics.
Politics.
And more politics.
And you know what else, Mark? Politics.
Oh, definitely.
So that's what we are. We are full of politics.
Well, we're full of a lot of things. I don't know if politics rates up there, but I understand.
You know, I heard some very disturbing news today.
Wait a second. Look at this. Carson is beating Trump in the Investors Business Daily. 24 to 17%. Whoa.
But that's not the poll. I see the GOP poll shows tightening, but it's not that. That's something else.
Yeah, but it's
not a poll. It's not a poll.
I know, but it's business people, and Trump is a businessman. That's what he likes to say.
He is a businessman.
Well, you were saying, I am sorry.
But we should have. You can't just read off a teleprompter because you don't know what they're talking about.
Doesn't everybody read off a the president reads off a teleprompter.
But not when you only see part of the news. Anyway.
Well, don't we make up the news?
Yeah, we do. Shut TV off. I can't. It distracts me. Oh, look at that. He has Tea Party written on his, where he is. Donald Trump was just at CNN. That really disrupts. I almost want to just turn it on and see what words of wisdom he has to say.
Well, unfortunately, we're broadcasting now, so we can't do that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I heard something very disturbing today. In that shooting where we had 9 innocent people get killed, one of them was a crippled woman who the shooter asked her to get off her wheelchair, and of course, obviously, she fell down. And then he told her to get back on her wheelchair. And while she was trying to get back in her wheelchair, he killed her. Now, you know, what do you call
callous and cold human being?
What are you, callous and cold is
actually human being would be too kind.
Yeah, I don't know what you would call somebody. It's not an animal because animals would never be so mean. So he's definitely not an animal.
Animals kill for food and protection. That's what they do.
So what do we call what do we call him? The devil? A devil? What do we call him?
He certainly behaved like one.
I don't know what you call somebody like that.
But ladies and gentlemen, you can call us at 646-595-3275 and let us know what you would call them. But remember to keep it clean because over the airwaves we have to be careful what we say.
So no effing a-holes or anything like that?
Even though that's probably what he is.
Well, you know, I just can't believe how anybody, and here's the word I'm going to say, which is probably the whole, just the thing, how anybody in their right mind would do something like that.
Well,
so obviously
but you see, it would be argued that no one in his right mind would do that.
Exactly. So obviously we have to assume that he was not in his right mind.
Yeah, he was never under psychiatric care. He got his guns legally.
even though he was at a school for special needs children, I think.
Not for children who...
Troubled kids or something.
Troubled kids.
Yeah. And how did we find these people before they committed another atrocity? From looks of things, I guess we got about 45 to 60 days before the next one. Maybe less, I don't know, maybe more, but they happen quite often, these murders. And they're copycats, and each one is trying to outdo the next. And it's just a horrible thing. We have to find a way of actually, I don't even know what it is, finding, evaluating people who might be of danger like this and keep them away from guns. Forget about banning guns or not banning guns. We got to find a way of keeping this kind of scum away from a gun. I don't know how to do it. Do we ban all guns? Do we ban all handguns? Who knows? I haven't got the slightest idea. If anybody's got any ideas at all on how to resolve this problem, give us a call at 646-595-3275. You'll probably be one of the few people who has figured it out. You know, I just don't know. And that's what the big thing in the news for me is. Putin is putting his foot right up Obama's rear end, doing what he wants.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you heard what Zbigniew Brzezinski said, you know, former Secretary of State under Carter.
Yeah.
He said that if Putin keeps bombing American supposed allies, see, the problem is America doesn't know who the hell to support. You know, Putin is backing Assad. Okay, he's supposed to be fighting ISIS.
No, he's not. Why is he supposed to be fighting ISIS?
Because he wants to fight ISIS, but what he's doing.
Who does?
Putin.
What makes you think he wants to fight ISIS?
Because by fighting ISIS, he's building up Assad. That's why.
No, by fighting who's fighting now, he's building up Assad. ISIS is not his problem yet. They're not in areas that he's interested in taking over right now.
They say that they are, but that's neither here nor there. What Brzezinski said was Obama has to show Putin that he can't keep bombing American allies. Okay, the ones who want Assad out. That's who he's bombing.
Yeah, but who are they? I don't think even we know who they are. They're Al-Qaeda. They're in some other terrorist groups. Well, how can we be supporting them?
We're supporting them because they're against Assad. That's the only reason. It's like, you know, politics and wars make strange bedfellows, you know?
Yeah, but...
The problem is with Syria...
Al-Qaeda, how they killed 3 million people here. 3,000 people in the United States. How are you going to support them?
The problem with that region is that the United States really doesn't know who the hell to fight. Unfortunately, okay? And, you know, we just know that Putin is not doing us any favors. But he was right when he said, look, before you replace Assad, you have to know what kind of government you're bringing in there. Okay?
Yeah.
which is something that we still don't know.
Listen, we screwed up every one of the countries we've gotten into. We bombed hospitals in Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, the mistake there was trying to cover it up, okay, with some BS excuse about the terrorists were hiding out in the hospital, okay? They weren't hiding out in
I
the
didn't hear
hospital.
that. I didn't hear
Yes,
that
I
excuse.
heard that on the news report before I came here.
I didn't
That
hear
was
that.
the first report. That was what the Pentagon was reporting, that at least 10 or 11 terrorists were fighting out of the hospital. Okay, there weren't any.
Well, I didn't even hear about
then
that.
one of the generals said, drone strikes are very accurate. The United States doesn't make a strike against a target unless they have eyes on the target. Meaning, the hospital was targeted. It wasn't a mistake. Okay? And let me tell you, Doctors Without Borders is not going to let this rest.
I don't blame him.
They're going to go to The Hague and they're going to try to bring charges against the United States and whoever was in charge of that drone.
Well, was it a drone? I don't even know.
I think it was.
Because they said it was gunfire, not drones don't do gunfire. I don't think they drop bombs, but I don't, or missiles or something. I don't know. But the whole point is, it was a mistake. We didn't want it. Like we try to hide it. That's
it's typical. If you make a mistake and you do something wrong, just come out and say it and face the music.
One of the other people said the only way you could be sure if you're not going to make mistakes is if you have eyes on the ground.
I just said that.
No, if you have eyes there looking at what you're actually bombing. No, they should have observers.
Well,
and he said we didn't have him. And he goes, that's the problem. You need observers. He says, that's why they all say you can't just bomb haphazardly. You have to have scouts. You have to have people watching what you're doing.
Yep.
Which means troops on the ground. That's why we haven't been successful in all our bombings with ISIS. We're trying to be so careful what we're doing. We're being so careful, trying to be so careful what we're doing that we go on missions and then we see a mother or a father with a kid, we pull back the planes and we don't bomb. And ISIS does what they want, and they know it. If we had, forward observers, we could tell them exactly where to bomb, where not to bomb, and we'd be a lot more effective. Or we could be like the Russians and not care and just bomb whatever they think they should be bombing.
Yeah, really.
And they're effective. I mean, this is war, and who's ever heard that there's not going to be...
Unfortunately, in war, there are casualties of war. All right? Innocent people die. It happened in World War II. It happened in Vietnam. It happened in Korea. Okay? It happened in the first Gulf War, and it happened now. In Afghanistan and in Iraq. You can't be perfect. When the United States in World War II was getting ready to invade Japan, the Pacific Fleet, they anticipated 50% American casualties. Not to mention, Japanese casualties. But, people will say, but they didn't think twice when they dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and killed innocent people.
A lot.